Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue à Let's Play Gabriel Knight 3, Blood of the Sacred, Blood of the Damned. And if you're wondering why I did that en français, it's because this game takes place in France. And if you're wondering what Gabriel is doing in France, you should watch the graphic novel video that precedes this one, which explains the backstory much better than the introduction does. To summarize, Gabriel was invited to Paris by Prince James of Albany, the Stuart heir, to protect his newborn son from the night visitors, who appear to be vampires. While he and Grace were there, the child was kidnapped, and Gabriel followed the two men to a train station, but was knocked out in the train. Gabriel Knight 3 was released in 1999, right around Chainsaw Monday. When Sierra changed ownership, the Oakhurst facility was closed, and a lot of the old personnel from the glory days was let go. As a result, the creators basically knew that this was going to be the last Gabriel Knight game. They knew that they had until the game was released, and that would be it for them. So, did they do it justice working under those conditions? Let's find out. We'll start with the introduction, which, although it is not as helpful as the graphic novel, is still rather important.
Did two men with a trunk get off here by any chance?
Oui,
Which way did they go?
that way, monsieur.
Oh, where are we anyway?
Guise, France. Let me help you, monsieur. There is a taxi at front, and a hotel nearby in Rennes-le-Château.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Interesting. Well, let's get started, see where this is heading. And we start at the hotel, day 1. 10 AM, as it said. And as you can tell, this game is in 3D. Really, really horrible 3D. Unfortunately, Gabriel Knight, as a series, has the distinction of having 3 completely different graphic styles for all 3 games, and basically going downhill from the first. I think the first game looks the best. Was never a fan of the graphic of the full motion video style of the second game, but I have to admit I prefer that to this, because this is just bad. The game was made in 1999, like I said, and at the time I don't think 3D graphics were really ready to give the kind of fidelity that adventure games need. Even worse, though, is the fact that this team had no experience with 3D, but were made to use it anyway by Sierra's management at the time. And it was in fact so bad that at the last minute they had to bring in outside help so the game would be at least playable. That led to a lot of compromises, and one of the results of that is a particularly infamous puzzle, which we'll get to later. But as with Gabriel Knight 2, where I promised I would not constantly gripe about low production values and green screen work, I am not going to make much of a fuss about the 3D in this game, because otherwise that will be all I am doing. I will, however, say that the controls are also really weird. I guess they wanted to make it sort of like a traditional point-and-click thing, so the mouse actually controls the camera, not the character. So I can freely move the camera around. I can also look up and down by holding Shift, and change my elevation by holding Control. And while I'm holding the left mouse button, I can just move around like this, and pressing space will return me to the proper eye level, which I will be doing several times during the game, because it's very easy to screw that up. Moving Gabriel is done like a normal point-and-click adventure. You point and you click, and then he walks there. He will, however, catch up with the camera if he's not visible, so if I move here and then click there, he immediately appears from behind the camera. You don't actually have to wait for him to walk the whole distance, which is kind of nice. It is weird, I'll say that much, but you do get used to it. It is also possible to control the camera using the keyboard, but on my system that is just almost impossible to control because it is way too fast, so I'll just be using the mouse. Let me check the options, make sure that captions are turned on, which is good. I'm not entirely sure what glide camera even does. Captions mean subtitles, in case you hadn't figured out. So apparently we are in Rennes-le-Château in France, as the conductor said. Why he felt the need to point out that it was France, I don't know. Would have thought that would be obvious to anyone getting off a train in France. I guess they wanted to make sure that the audience knew it. And like many of the places in Gabriel Knight 1 and 2, Rennes-le-Château is a real place, and many of the locations in this game are derived directly from real places, although they obviously don't look quite as similar as they did in the previous game, because, well, that was photographs and videos, and this is 3D. Honestly, Minecraft has better graphics than this. Okay, let's look around in this hotel room before we do anything else. Actually, one thing we should do before starting out is checking our inventory. We currently apparently have 0 points out of 965. So we have quite a way to go. Inventory is brought up by pressing I. That's the easy way to do it. You can also get there from here, which you bring this up by right-clicking. Like I said, the interface is kind of awkward. And we already have a number of things in our possession. So let's see what they are. This appears to be the Ritter Dagger. This is the simplified icon interface for this game. You get different icons depending on what you're interacting with. So let's inspect. That brings up a close-up view of the object. And then looking, we'll have Gabriel describe it.
My Schattenjäger dagger.
And that is indeed what it is. You may have noticed we have Tim Curry back as Gabriel Knight, so now we have a Gabriel that looks like the Gabriel from Gabriel Knight 2 and sounds like the one from Gabriel Knight 1, just to make things even more confusing. We have to say Tim Curry does not deliver his best performance here. He kind of sleepwalks through the part. Well, I've heard worse. It's definitely not King's Quest 5 levels of atrocious. Who knows, maybe we'll actually do something with this dagger in this game. This appears to be my passport.
Looking at my passport picture, it's a wonder the US ever let me go.
I guess so. Do US passports really have an enormous signature on the top of the page? I doubt it. And a notepad.
A good writer never goes anywhere without his notepad.
Okay. We can use that to make notes of things, strangely enough. This appears to be the business card of Prince James. Wait a second, I thought his name was supposed to be spelled S-T-E-W-A-R-T. That's the way it was spelled in the graphic novel, anyway. Huh. He has 2 phone numbers, one in Edinburgh and one in Paris, apparently. Which is where we came from. If you did not read the graphic novel, but only watched the introduction, you have no idea who Prince James is.
Prince James's calling card.
Or why we're here, what we were doing in that train. But if you've watched that video, then you do know all of these things, so it should not be a problem for you. This appears to be a room key.
That key really comes in handy when I want to get into my room.
That it does. And of course, the Schattenjäger.
The Schattenjäger talisman. It's kind of like a lucky rabbit's foot, only big and heavy.
Yeah, I'm sure Gabriel's getting real tired of lugging that thing around. And the tape recorder is back.
I went back to my old tape recorder. That dual mount was a pain to lug around.
Okay, which means we will not be splicing any tapes in this game. New icon here, this means think, as the tooltip helpfully says.
Grace has been working on our procedure for cases. She wants us to take fingerprints, use this new program called Sydney, and do all this sort of, you know, official crap. So I don't think I'll record my conversations this time around, but I might be able to find some more creative uses for my tape recorder.
Yep, so there's no more conversation history from the tape recorder, but we will be able to use it at some places in the game to record things of interest. Much like we did in the Hunting Lodge in the previous game. And finally, Gabriel's wallet. Oh, and all the stuff about Grace and Sydney we will find out about later.
My wallet.
And he appears to have actual money in it, which is good. And a business card from Sierra Online.
My wallet.
You can't look at that. I guess they have been in contact with him to make games about him. which would make this kind of like Myst in that they are pretending that it all is based on real events. Okay, now we can look around the hotel room.
Kind of a big bed for little old me.
Well, knowing you, you'll probably end up with company at some point. So, who knows? And who knows even if it will be male or female company. Could be either, considering the previous games. All of the items in the... you can look at everywhere, all have this inspect thing, which basically just gives you a camera angle to look at them closely, which can be useful, but I'll only be doing it when it makes sense. We have a bedside table.
Furniture. Gee, how about that?
It's about what you'd expect in a hotel room. And we can open that.
Oh, there's nothing in there but dust bunnies.
No Bible? Didn't they do that in France? I don't know. I've been in hotels in France, but it's too long ago.
Kind of a bushy thing, isn't it?
I guess. More furniture.
Nice of them to provide a little office space.
We also appear to be the only room in this hotel that does not have stationery.
Trash cans. The mark of a really fine hotel.
And it doesn't look like there's anything in it, so... see, you can actually look into it somehow. Maybe, perhaps. So, no need to search it. And we can't look at the lamp. Not much of a view, which is a shame. Rennes-le-Château is a nice area.
Nice view, if there was anything to look at, that is.
It looks like we can open the window. Which does serve a purpose. You can actually get onto the roof, but that's not really what I want to be doing at this point.
It's the roof. I wonder whose room that is.
Let's hope we can avoid any more crazy hijinks. Crawling over roofs. That was bad enough in the second game. Curtains.
Nice view,
Oh.
if there was anything to look at.
Apparently that counts as the window.
Good thing I have all this stuff in my room. You never know when you'll need a dresser.
Well, usually when you have clothes. Do you even have a suitcase or anything with you? Because you left kind of in a hurry. Doesn't look like it. And the dresser is kind of empty. Oh yeah, that's helpful.
I don't have a damn thing with me.
But there are two things in here. A clothes hanger,
I don't have a damn thing.
which I apparently did not properly click on. This is really annoying because Gabriel's in the way.
Your basic Y hanger. Good thing Joan Crawford ain't around.
Well, let's take that with us for our first 2 points.
Somebody must have had a note in here or something.
And right now, all that's left is the tape. So we got tape.
It's a long piece of masking tape. Still sticky, too.
Well, you never know when we need something to stick to something else. And we got the wire hanger.
Your basic Y hanger.
Which does not get a different description in the inventory. It always helps to check things in the inventory, because sometimes you'll get a think icon on them there, and you might find out something useful. Well, we'll have to see what else is in this room in the next video.